In the alleys of Mumbai, as noon was passing into evening, the scorching heat of the blazing sun did not only burn Ranbir's skin, it also ignited a smoldering fire inside his chest. The sweat-soaked, oil-sticky uniform was his second skin, which in the eyes of society identified him only as a delivery boy. The broken bike's old sound seemed to blend into the noise of the city like a suppressed sigh. This city, with its luxurious buildings and powerful people, did not know that behind this calm face was hidden an unbelievable power, an indomitable fire of revenge. Today, when he entered a high-profile auction, in his hand was not just an ordinary black bag. It was the key to a secret empire, whose roots were planted deep in the history of this city, and whose value was beyond numbers, a treasure with which every center of power in this city could be bought. How did a delivery boy, who until now only delivered lunchboxes, become the heir to such a legendary empire? An empire whose vastness was beyond imagination. And why was there such fierce fire of revenge burning in his eyes? Let us begin that astonishing story which will make your head spin about what the true identity of this delivery boy was, and how he shook the throne of power in Mumbai. In the alleys of Mumbai, as noon was passing into evening, the blazing heat of the sun was burning overhead. At this very time, his work began. The broken bike's old sound seemed to merge into the noise of the city like a muffled sigh. The sweat-soaked uniform was his second skin, which in the eyes of society identified him only as a delivery boy. His name was Ranbir, but no one in the city knew what deep ocean was hidden behind this name. What indomitable fire of revenge was silently burning. Today also, like any other day, his day had begun with humiliation. Going to deliver in a luxurious apartment in the Juhu area, the guard stopped him from taking the lift. With a dirty uniform, it would trouble the other residents. Climbing the 22 floors of stairs, Ranbir's chest was hurting, yet there was no irritation on his face. Only his eyes had sunk deeper. These insults drove him. At every step they reminded him what his goal was. When he reached the 22nd floor with a lunchbox in hand, a young girl asked in irritation the reason for the delay. When Ranbir mentioned the lift, the girl rolled her eyes and said, "Was the lift closed, or you can't take it? How many such lies will I have to hear?" While leaving after the delivery, she threw a 10-rupee note at him as a tip, as if he was a beggar. Ranbir did not take the note. He only looked silently once. In that look there was no anger, but a deep emptiness, and inside him a new spark of protest. All day long, countless such insults were his daily companions, from the receptionists of high-rise offices to the managers of expensive restaurants. In everyone's eyes, he was just a delivery boy. In VIP areas, seeing his broken bike, the riders of luxury cars wrinkled their noses and mocked. Each insult was intensifying the fire of revenge inside Ranbir. A month later, an incident took place. For preparing some important documents, Ranbir needed a good car. Instead of renting one with a driver, he decided to buy a car. He entered a famous luxury showroom in Mumbai. On him, that sweat-soaked delivery uniform. In his pocket, a few folded notes, and the rest was on a card from a hidden account. In the shiny showroom of expensive cars, a well-dressed sales executive, Priya, came forward. Clear irritation in her eyes. "Yes, sir. Can I help you?" Priya's tone carried clear disdain. Ranbir calmly said, "I was looking at a car." Priya smiled, that smile carrying a hint of mockery. "Sir, in our showroom we only have luxury segment cars. What is your budget?" Ranbir said, "I want to see the BMW X7 model." Priya almost fainted, hearing that. "A delivery boy wants a BMW X7, she whispered to another colleague standing nearby. "Look at this situation. Even these people now want to buy an X7. Then she turned to Ranbir and said, "Sir, the price of an X7 starts from 1 crore 20 lakhs. Are you really interested?" Ranbir pulled out those folded notes from the dirty pocket of his uniform and said, "I came to buy. I want a test drive." Priya laughed. "Sir, for a test drive you have to deposit a booking amount. And with your profession, getting a bank loan will also be a problem." Ranbir raised his head and looked straight at her. In his eyes there was a deep determination. "Tell me the booking amount." Priya was even more surprised. 10 lakh rupees, sir." "Are you serious?" Ranbir took out that card from his pocket and handed it to Priya. "Here, a payment of 10 lakhs. And one more thing, the full payment of this car will be in cash. I want delivery today. Is it possible?" Priya took the card and went to the counter. Within moments, her face turned pale. She was shaken. The amount of money in Ranbir's account was enough to buy all the cars in the showroom. Lowering her head, she came back and said, "Sorry, sir, my mistake. Arranging the test drive right now. Delivery will also be done today." Ranbir said nothing. For the first time, he had the power in his hand to stop a small insult, but the biggest insult of his life was still waiting. A few weeks later, excitement spread throughout the city for a prestigious event, the Global Heritage Auction. Ranbir's long-awaited moment had finally arrived. It was in this very auction that everything was taken away from his father. His family's honor had been pawned. Today he would take it all back. He would crush the arrogance of his enemies. At the grand banquet hall of Tajland's End Hotel, the auction was in full swing. Ranbir's enemies, Pratap Rathore, the owner of Rathore Group, and his arrogant son Vikram, were sitting proudly in the front row. Victory smiles on their faces. Because in today's auction, their longtime rival, Varghave Enterprises' remaining property, Anand Vilas, a historic bungalow, was being put up for sale, what was once Ranbir's family property. Pratap Rathore had utterly ruined his father and taken that bungalow, which drove his father to finally take his own life. Ranbir vowed that very day to avenge that humiliation. At the auction gate, a bouncer stopped him and gruffly said, "Delivery time is over. What business do you have inside?" Ranbir handed over his invitation card and said, "My name is Ranbir. I am a bidder." The bouncer sneered, "You, a bidder?" "This is a game of thousands of crores." Ranbir remained unmoved. Reluctantly, the bouncer checked the card and, surprised, let him through. The card was genuine. As he entered the hall, every eye turned to him. A sweat-soaked uniform, a plain black bag in his hand, yet a steady look on his face. The moment Pratap Rathore saw him, his features contorted. Vikram laughed aloud and said, "Maybe he forgot to deliver a lunchbox." Their taunts reached Ranbir's ears. He simply walked to a chair at the far end and sat down. The auction began. One valuable lot after another went under the hammer. Finally, the moment arrived. The name Anand Vilas was announced. Ranbir felt as if his breath had stopped. His father's dreams, his childhood memories, everything seemed embedded in every brick of that villa. The auctioneer announced the starting price for the historic bungalow, 500 crore rupees. Pratap Rathore's agent raised his hand immediately, bidding 600 crore, and the price raced past 1,000 crore. Pratap and his agent tried to outbid everyone, eyes burning with greed. They were sure the villa would be theirs. At 1,450 crore, things quieted for a moment. Pratap felt pleased. His agent was about to beat 1,470 crore when the auctioneer prepared to bring down the hammer. At that very instant, a calm voice rose from the back. 2,000 crore. The hall fell silent. Everyone turned to look at Ranbir. Pratap Rathore narrowed his eyes and asked, "What is that delivery boy saying?" Vikram laughed. "His bike alone won't be worth 10,000, and now he's talking 2,000 crore. The auctioneer asked, "Sir, are you sure?" Ranbir nodded. Pratap Rathore flew into a rage. "Mr. Auctioneer, are you trusting this charlatan? Remove him at once." "But according to the rules, any registered bidder may place a bid." The auctioneer replied, "Sir, if he has the funds, he may bid." Pratap's agent attempted a bid, 2,000 crore and 100 rupees, as if mocking Ranbir. Ranbir calmly said, 5,000 crore. The hall erupted as if a bomb had gone off. Pratap Rathore leapt to his feet, furious. 5,000 crore? This guy's gone mad. Vikram shouted, "Take him out!" But Ranbir had already bid. The auctioneer looked at him questioningly. Ranbir then opened that plain black bag, took out a file and a small hard drive, and said, "I don't have 500 in cash, Mr. Rathore, but I do have in my hand the key to my grandfather's dormant empire. Assets whose value exceeds 55,000 crore. A fortune that could buy every seat of power in the city." Ranbir slid the file toward the auctioneer. "Look at these documents," he said. "When you ruined my father, when you ground my family's name into the dust, the hidden empire my grandfather left behind was still asleep. For the past 10 years, while I delivered lunch boxes through the alleys of this city, while you sneered at me for my uniform, I quietly recovered and rebuilt that vast wealth. My grandfather was a visionary industrialist, and you never knew the true extent of his holdings. The trust he created, the secret investments, the dormant assets, I brought them into the light." The auctioneer opened the file. His eyes widened. Inside were papers showing a legendary industrialist's enormous estate and investment records. Stakes in some of the world's largest holding companies, with a current market value of 55,000 crore rupees. Ranbir turned to Pratap Rathore. There was a cold, bright fire in his eyes. 15 years ago you ruined my father," Ranbir said. "Your false charges and conspiracies sank my father's company. He could not bear the shame and took his own life. That day I swore I would make you suffer the consequences. You mocked me as a delivery boy. You turned up your nose at my sweat-stained uniform. But that uniform was my armor, my disguise. The rumble of this bike was the silent witness to my plan. Nobody knew that the delivery boy coded through the nights negotiating with powerful investors across the world. By day I took your insults and turned them into capital. By night, I quietly rebuilt the empire you thought was lost." Ranbir lifted the hard drive. "This contains every record of your and your company's illegal transactions," he said. "How you cheated my father's company. How you betrayed countless innocent people. It's all here. I'm not just going to buy Anand Vilas, Mr. Rathore. I'm going to buy back everything you stole from my family. I will beat you with your own game, Pratap Rathore." And Vikram Rathore's faces went pale. Their arrogance collapsed in an instant. The hall buzzed into stunned silence. The auctioneer's hand trembled as he brought the hammer down. Anand Vilas was sold to Ranbir Vargav for 5,000 crore rupees. Ranbir rose calmly, file in one hand, hard drive in his pocket, victory set like stone in his eyes. He knew this was only the beginning. The work of shaking the city's most powerful to their foundations had just begun. The derided delivery boy's rumbling bike would no longer be ignored. The quiet roar of the hidden empire was awake now. The fire of Ranbir's revenge that had burned silently for years would blaze into an open inferno.